Hello everyone, this is going to be a video on writing equations of lines. We're going to cover a lot in this video, but nothing in this video should be new to you guys. This is kind of like an Algebra 1 review day, so I'm not saying that you necessarily need to have perfectly remembered all of this stuff from last year, but it should at least be familiar to you, and as we go through it, it should be like, oh yeah, bringing this stuff back a bit. So first we're going to do some skills review. And the first thing we're going to talk about is finding slope, all right, between 2 points. So finding slope requires you to know your slope formula, all right? We know slope is rise over run, all right? And so your slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So when you're labeling your points, you can label them as x comma y. So we've got x1 comma y1, and we've got x2 comma y2, okay? And then all you need to do is just plug your numbers into the formula, all right? So on top, we've got y2 minus y1. That's negative 1 minus 4. On bottom, we've got x2 minus x1, that's 2 minus 5. And then we just need to figure out, what does this equal? So negative 1 minus 4, that's negative 5. 2 minus 5, that's negative 3. And so we want to leave slope as a fraction, all right? So we're not going to do anything with these numbers since 5 over 3 can't be simplified. But two negative signs, we do know that negative divided by a negative turns into a positive. So our slope here will be 5/3. So we can do the exact same thing over here. We're going to look at another example, okay? So we've got x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2. And so again, we've got, negative 5 minus 6. On bottom, we've got negative 5 minus negative 5. So this is one thing that I want to point out, okay? If you already have an x1 or a y1 that is negative, okay, you need to write it and put it in parentheses, because what we have here is very different than minus 5. If you're subtracting a negative, right, these two negative signs turn into a positive. So that should actually be negative 5 plus 5. That's why you need to be very careful with these two values. If they're negative, you're already subtracting them. So then that gives you two negative signs. If you forget about that, you're going to get the wrong answer. So negative 5 minus 6, that's negative 11. Negative 5 plus 5, now that's 0. Now, some people might be tempted to put equals 0 here. That's actually wrong. Type it into your calculator if you don't believe me, all right? Negative 11 divided by 0. Type that into your calculator and you'll get an error, all right? You cannot divide by 0. It is mathematically impossible. So if you get 0 on the bottom of your fraction, it's this word right here, undefined. Okay, your slope is undefined. Which means you would have a vertical line. So that's how you would do number 2. All right. The second skills review we want to go over is graphing. All right. Now, we're going to talk about this down here, but slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b. Okay. M is your slope, and b is your y-intercept. So all you need is those two things to graph, all right? You need a point to start, and then you need your slope to get you more points. So if we were to graph this line right here, 1/2 x minus 9, all right? We're going to count down 9. All right, we're going to count down 9 and put a point there. This is the y-axis, okay? The one that goes up and down. You can see the y up here. So that means that your starting point, your y-intercept, is going to be on that value. Sorry about that. Now you have your slope is 1/2. Remember, slope is rise over run. So you're going to rise 1 and run 2. All right, so up 1 over 2. And that's going to give you your second point. And then you're going to keep doing that. All right, get a bunch of points, and then you can draw your line. Now, I did not draw my line well right there, so I'm actually going to move it. But you guys have done this plenty of times before. You know how to draw the line through and draw arrows. All right, lines do not stop. So the second one, negative x plus 1. So our y-intercept is plus 1. So we're going to go up 1 on the y-axis and draw our first point. Now, what is this slope right here? All right, just the negative sign. So that means the slope is -1. All right, so negative signs only apply to the rise. I cannot stress this enough. You're going down 1, but you're still going 1 to the right, okay? So your line should be going this way. A negative slope means your line is going down, all right? So therefore, you do not want to go to the left one. If you go to the left one, your line won't be going down anymore. All right, so this is what our slope would look like for a negative slope. Okay. So now actually writing equations of lines, all right? So we're gonna look at two graphs here, and we wanna write these equations again in slope-intercept form, okay? So we can look at our graph and immediately get the y-intercept, all right? Where is it crossing the y-axis? It's crossing the y-axis at 2. So we know we're gonna have y equals something x minus 2, okay? Now, how do we find the slope? Well, you find the slope by picking out 2 points on your graph, all right? And then just counting the rise and the run between those points. So we're going down 1, all right? So our rise is -1, and then we're going over 2. So we're gonna have -1/2, all right, is what our slope is going to be. So our equation is just -1/2 x minus 2. Number 6, we can do the same thing, all right? We can look, the y-intercept right there is 5, so we have y equals something x plus 5. Then we want to pick out 2 points to find the slope, so here's 1 point right here. Now when you're picking out points, you need to make sure that both your values are whole numbers. So like, I don't want to pick right here, right? Because where is this? I don't know where that is, okay? So you got to pick points that cross at one of the x's or one of the t's, like right there. So now we can see our line is going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going up 4 and over 1. All right, so our rise is 4, our run is 1. 4 over 1, that's just 4. So the equation of this line would be y equals 4x plus 1. So that's how to do it given a graph. Now, it's a little bit harder, all right, when you're given a point, okay? So I really hope you did a good job paying attention last year during your linear equations unit, because you're gonna need to know point slope form, okay, in order to do this. Now, point slope form, all right, looks like this. Nope, does not look like that. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1, okay? And again, your m is your slope, but your x1 and your y1 is actually a point. So that's why when they give us a point, okay, we need to use point slope form, because you can't really put it in slope intercept form if you don't know the intercept, all right? Now you can solve for it, but that's just more work and more opportunities for mistakes. So we want to write the equation of a line that has a slope of 1/4 and passes through 8, 1. So the slope part is easy, all right? The slope goes right there. So we're going to have y minus something equals, so our slope goes right after the equal sign where that m number is. So we're going to have 1/4 parentheses x minus something, okay? Now these two somethings, the x1 and the y1 spot, that's your point, okay? We have x1 comma y1, just like we labeled it for our slope. So your x1 value needs to go with the x, all right? I know it comes first in the point, but you're not going to put your x1 value right here, all right? That doesn't make any sense. Your y value goes with the y, your x value goes with the x. So our x1 value is 8, our y1 value is 1. Now pay attention to this, okay? In your point, okay, both of these numbers are positive. In your equation now, they're both negative. How did that happen? Well, in our equation, we actually have negative signs. We have minus signs, all right? So we're subtracting y1. If y1 is 1, then it looks like y minus 1. Okay, we're subtracting 8. So that looks like x minus 8. So it's going to look like the opposite sign in your equation that it is in your point. Okay, if one of the values in your point is negative, subtracting a negative turns into a positive, so it's going to look like a positive number in your equation. That is the hardest part to remember. All right, so make sure you pay attention to that. We're going to do another one. Okay, write the equation of a line that's a slope of -4 and passes through -8, 3. So again, all right, we're going to have y minus something equals our slope, so that's -4, parentheses, x minus something. So now we're going to look, okay, we're going to label our point. This is x1 comma y1. So our x1 value is -8, remember, so since it's negative, that's going to become +8 in our equation. The 3 is positive, so we can just plug that in as y minus 3. So our equation is going to be y minus 3 equals -4, parentheses, x plus 8. So I know point slope form, you don't know it as well as y-intercept form, but point slope form is really important, okay? It's much easier to write these equations in point slope form. The last thing that we're going to do, write the equation of a line that passes through the points. So again, because we're not given a slope and because we're just given 2 points, okay, we need to copy, all right, our slope formula, all right? You need to know that slope formula like the back of your hand, okay? So we've got x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2. So we can plug those numbers in. So y2 minus y1, that's -9 minus 1. x2 minus x1, that's 2 minus 4. So -9 minus 1, that's -10. 2 minus 4, that's -2. 10 divided by 2, that's 5. And again, the negative signs are going to cancel out, so our slope is +5. So now, again, we don't know what the y-intercept is here. They didn't give us the y-intercept. So we need to plug this back in point slope form. Okay, so now we know our slope is 5. So we know it's going to be y minus something equals 5x minus something. And now you can just pick either one of your points to plug in. All right, it does not matter. I'm going to plug in the 4 and 1 since they're both positive. So that'll be x minus 4, and that'll be y minus 1. And I'm done, and this is my answer. So we needed to find the slope first, all right, and then we could plug our values into our equation. And we're going to do the same thing down here, all right? We've got x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2. So looking at our slope formula, y2 minus y1, that's 6 minus 2. x2 minus x1, that's negative 3 minus 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. Negative 3 minus 1, that's negative 4. So 4 over negative 4, that gives us negative 1. So you should not be plugging in numbers like this in your equation. If you can simplify it, you should simplify it, all right? So our slope is negative 1, so we've got we got y minus something equals negative 1, x minus something. Again, we can pick either point to plug in. I'm going to plug in 1 comma 2 because they're both positive, so our x1 value, that's 1, so we got x minus 1. Our y1 value is 2, so y minus 2. And we are done, and that is our answer. So that's all that you guys are going to be doing today. Again, I know it's a lot, but a lot of it is the same thing. Finding slope, all right? Plugging a point in. If you know point slope form, it's not that bad, all right? Go ahead and give the practice a shot, okay? Make sure you're looking back at this worksheet, okay? The practice is structured the exact same way, so if you need an example, come look at your notes. If you have any questions, let me know, and have a great day.